Just give it a couple of seconds. All right, so we're live. Welcome everybody back to season 5, episode 2 of the Level Up Your Wealth podcast, where we talk about the gaming industry from a business perspective. One of your hosts, Marcus Howard. Unfortunately, Mario couldn't be here today. We'll see him next week, but we're still excited to speak to Jarrell, also known as Omega Sparks. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank y'all for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome, man. We were just saying earlier, I think it might have been like 2022, January 2022.
I think so. Yeah. That's when I purchased your video game, your guide to the world of esports, and it was absolutely incredible. I live in North Carolina, and so one of the colleges that I frequent, Johnson C. Smith, I found out through your book they have an esports program on college campus, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, and so yeah, it's been about 2 years.
That's dope. It's actually really ironic. I have taught there 3 terms, adjunct professor, virtual.
Okay.
I still live here in Florida, but virtual.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I went. I don't know if you heard of the Upward Bound program back in high school. So that was when I was in the Upward Bound program for about 4 years. And I went to Johnson C. Smith while I was in high school, got like a college prep program for kids. So
that's dope. People, shout out to Johnson C. Smith University and Dr. Bernadette Lawson Williams. I don't know if you know her, John C. Smith or John Cash. Sorry, John Cash. I don't know if you know him.
Not yet.
No. Yeah, I'll be sure to introduce you to them. They'll be ecstatic that you're in the local community. Both of them.
Yeah.
And then Upward Bound. Yeah, I was an Upward Bound mentor when I went to Georgia Southern University, which is not at HBCU.
Yeah.
That program is so important for creating visibility of opportunity.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I loved it. And then, you get in the summertime, you be on campus, and if you're going to the 11th grade, if you're going, you're taking courses where you're going, so everyone that was seniors that were college bound, they were you're taking classes, getting ready for. I actually got one of my scholarships going into college through Upward Bound program. So yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. That's dope. If you're tuning in live, let us know where you're tuning in from. We'll give you a shout out on screen. We can see you in the chat. If you have questions, don't hesitate to let Jarrell know. He's an icon in the music industry. But before we get into all of that, and on the gaming side of the music industry, I want to give you your props, your right props. I want anybody watching to be offended. You are an icon in the gaming side of the music industry. Before we get into that, let us jump into a game of rock, paper, scissors, tradition on the podcast. So let me share my screen.
Okay. All right. I'm a competitor now.
All right. So it's just like you remember old school rock, paper, scissors. This happens to be digital.
Okay.
So a card game, first to 5 points. What happens is every time you play and I play, I'll see a history of both my moves and your moves. You can see a history of your moves and my moves at the top and bottom of the screen.
All right.
And, hopefully that helps you with some strategy.
Okay, we'll see. All right. So I can make, it's my move.
It's your move, yep.
Yeah, I got the first one. Okay.
All right. Tied up.
All right. You beat it.
So what's cool about this game is that it's a responsive design, so you can play it on anything connected to the internet. So both of us obviously playing on PC, but you play the exact same game. I could play against you from my mobile phone, and I would assume from a gaming console. I've not tried that, but I know it wouldn't work. Well, I guess it might not have inputs for. Well, no, because what is it when as I continue losing, when you open up browser in the PlayStation, it gives you a cursor.
Okay. Oh man, you got me on the ropes.
Here we go, match point.
You beat me.
It's all right. Thanks for playing. What was cool is I spoke. Let me shift this back up here. I spoke at a elementary school for Black History Month here in Tampa Bay.
Oh, nice.
I took this game there and I gave away a free copy of my book, signed copy of my book as a prize. And it was just insane to see like all the kids going up to their parents, asking them to play. We had like, it was like 50 groups of parents and kids, and we had 49 contestants or players in the tournament for this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love when, and you're a prime example of this, how video games, your love and passion for video games can basically be enjoyed on an academic level. It can, just integrate in children's, school experience and stuff. I remember, I'm about to date myself, brother. I'm talking about number munchers, word munchers. Back when we had the was it Apple computers or
Mario teaches typing and all that. Yeah,
Oregon Trail. And,
Oregon Trail.
Yeah. It made kids excited to go to the library when that's when there was just one computer in the library, and it, had to rent the floppy disk and put the floppy disk in. And that's how far I go back. But it was so exciting. Yeah. And so just through the innovations throughout time, I'm sure kids are still having their own experiences like that. So it's great.
Hopefully we see, more schools adopting video games in class. Cause I know that, like you said, it was like in a library, like one computer in the library, you could go play those games.
Yep.
Not that, I grew up in Georgia in DeKalb County, like right outside of Atlanta. And we didn't have a bunch of computers. Like computers are basically all in the library.
Right. It was the library.
But when I went to high school, we had a couple extra places where they would put computers in the classrooms.
Right.
And we didn't have access to the computers.
Oh,
let me say it differently.
Yeah.
I installed video games on the network drive, but outside of that, we weren't supposed to. I got in trouble for that.
Oh,
yeah, not really celebrated in school playing video games on the computer.
Right. Yeah. But I love that. So there was a little flash of who you became. That was getting in trouble. I love it.
Yeah. So talk about your journey, man. You've been creating music as a vocalist now, 20 years? Take us back.
Yeah. Woo. Boy, yeah. 16. Yeah.
Rolling up on 20.
Yeah, going up on 50 now. So when I was 16, I just grown up kid in the 90s, loving hip hop, loving rock, and I was definitely a 90s kid, and so even with the cartoons we used to watch on Saturday mornings and everything. And is when I in high school I got real serious about doing music, and it was like really fun. So in high school I started experimenting. So I did mostly faith-based music when I was in high school, and rocking and rapping in gospel choirs and just all out of place, having fun, When I went to college, I started experimenting with like rapping about your favorite video games, and had some friends of mine. We make video game music before we even knew it was a thing. We just like, hey, I got my favorite comic book characters, my favorite video game characters. Let's see if we can make like a dope song about them, or if they were in this situation, how would they get out? But you got to make a rap song about it. So that's where the curiosity began.
Yeah.
And then the past 11 years, shout out to Evo Championship Series. That's where I took the dream and it actually became a thing, as I started writing ceremonial hype songs for their top 8. They're top 6 now, but top 8 back in the day. And the second year writing music for Evo, I got picked up by Microsoft to work on Killer Instinct, and that's when the journey began. So
the rest, they say, is history. I don't know, by chance, do you have that? Can we play that on? If I can go, I guess I go to YouTube.
Yeah. I'll send you I'll send you the link.
Yeah, if you go to the screen share here on our end in the green room, hit that button, that third one from the left with the arrow in it.
Okay.
And then I'll bring it up on screen so everybody can see it.
The Killer Instinct one, huh?
Killer Instinct one. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, sweet. And you said there's a share button.
Yeah, we got 6 icons on our end, and the third one from the left with the arrow in it.
Oh yeah, one right in the middle for me.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, okay, good.
Bro.
Yeah, okay. I'm sharing it.
Yeah, make sure. I think you share with audio. Did you share with audio?
We'll see. You hear it? Audio?
We can. Yeah, we got it. We got the audio.
We got the audio.
We're gonna run it back.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a longer intro from the video game. You would have it long.
Cashing cards for somewhere lost my past. Hard math, the combo gym, getting back my art. With the fury inside, you can't match my spark. So, regard for a shot in your chest. I got the instinct to do it in this battle of death. This is my time to rise, you can't ride on my steps. I'm gonna win, and it don't matter who challenge me next. So I can power through you with no risk, leaving your soul twisted up in my close fist. Take notice, I'm saying it's the coldest, baddest erratic fighter you can face on the foes list. The knockout king to all my opponents. I'm taking every moment to win, baby, I own it. Yeah, I stop the zoning with flurries and combinations, saying you with hate makers. My skills are way great. I'm back to. Let the truth be told. I feel on fire when my passion flows. I'm back to. Let the truth be told. I feel on fire when my passion flows. I'm back for my glory, yeah. These guys talk big, but I'm more.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
You said you got that placement 10 years ago, 8 years ago?
Yeah, it was 10 years ago, late last year. They just sell it. Iron Galaxy and Microsoft, they just celebrated. They put out like a anniversary edition of Killer Instinct and got a chance to experience some of that magic all over again. They did that late last year. And I tell you, it's just really fun, like being a part of, especially this game, because the gamers really kept it alive for 10 years. It's the power of esports. How whole cultures are built around the games, and you get to see that. You basically get to grow up with that, it's been fun and still connected to a lot of the players and the professional gamers that compete in it, and it's just fun. Like I'm a little music celebrity, in that space.
Do you know Mega Ran? I think it's Mega Ran.
Yeah. I've done many songs with Mega Ran. He is who I want to be when I grow up. Like he is such a great ambassador for video game music, nerdcore music, and he's awesome.
We got some questions that come in. Both of them from Brian. The first one says, "What software do you use?" So if you're talking to somebody who's interested and inspired by your work and interested in the work that you do, and they want to get started on their journey, where would you point them? What direction?
Well, so in college, don't laugh at me. So I use a very old vintage, DAW, digital music software, Acid. So I started with Acid 2 when I was in college. I'm on like Acid 10 now, and so I think they have like
sponsored by Acid. Sounds like they should be sponsoring you.
They should. I know, right? I mean, I've been very a lot of brand loyalty, but it's basically nice cut and paste lyrics and being able to just craft the songs, for people that maybe technically, declined, or just it's very user friendly. Let's just say
it's accessible.
Yeah, very accessible. There's people that use FL Studios and Cubase that may scoff at that, but I love the Magic's Digital Studio. That's what I use.
Okay. And then we had a follow-up question from Brian. It says, where do you get your samples from?
I stay away from samples, honestly. Like, especially, we could definitely talk about sync licensing. I've been really heavy in the sync licensing space. And, even with the video game, with the Killer Instinct placement, that's a form of sync licensing as well. And so I was doing sync licensing before I knew what it was, back in the day. And now it's more, intentional with it. And so, yeah, you want to stay away from samples. You want to work with producers that can make their own original sounds seem like samples, and so that's the space I try to stay in. And so try to be sample free over here.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit more about that? What's
Sure.
the challenge with samples for sync licensing?
It's just tough to get clear. Let me paint a scenario. What's like one of your favorite shows growing up, or a show that's out now? Let's say something on Netflix, right? So
Yeah.
Netflix wants to
Like
license.
Ben 10.
Yeah, they want to license your music.
Yeah.
And they want it to be the theme song for this upcoming season. And you're gonna get $5,000 per episode that your song is featured in.
Is that a real number? Is that we talking hypotheticals? Give me a real number. Is that a real number?
That's low. That's lowballing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes songs get picked up for $10,000 an episode, or just a straight up buyout for like $50,000. The sync licensing space is really great.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
So that's an opportunity, but you have a sample in your song that you must clear, or you don't get that money, and you don't get the prestige of being associated with the season of that series. And so a lot of times I've seen it, like samples will block people from being connected to some amazing projects. And so, and then the hassle, I have the experience of trying to clear a sample, and it is, you ask yourself, is the sample that important to the song? Because it's not the artist that performed the song that owns the song. It's their uncle, sadly, that just passed away. His estate got passed to that artist's cousin. And so you have to find, and that person is not even on the map. You have to find that person. You can go through like Harry Fox agency, stuff like that, where you can find and license music and stuff like that. That's the easy way to clear a sample. But you have to get them to sign off on it, and it's just a hassle trying to find those people in real life. And it's not worth it. Just create from the ground up, especially if you're in the sync licensing space.
Okay, good to know. I don't have any original music, but if I ever get into that space,
good to know. I'm
gonna keep that right here.
That's right.
So I don't know if you know Sebastian Burton. So he and I, produced the last podcast. So he has a song that he made for Dead or Alive.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've got a chance to talk with just awesome, just ambassador of the world. I look at his life through posts, and I'm like, this guy's incredible. But yeah. Shout out to hip hop being represented throughout the history of video game music. It's like we're carving our own lane and progressing the story of hip hop in the video game space. So shout out to Mr. Burton.
Yeah. I think what was it? Wiz Khalifa had the music for, was it Mortal Kombat? This is years ago.
Mortal Kombat, not too long ago. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 10, right? Mortal Kombat 9 or 10. Yeah, he had the theme song for it, and I get so hyped when I hear hip hop being used for like game trailers or in game and stuff like that. Actually, Mega Ran and it's another gentleman, Zed Tabani. They did the outro of Mortal Kombat 1. So when you beat the game, there's a song that comes on in the ending credits. It's Mega Ran and Zed Tabani. And I forgot the producer that created the track, but they're rapping as the game is being completed. And so I just love how hip hop is just woven into the fabric of video games,
Yeah. So what's that on in the background behind you? Looks like almost like a record. Or
Yeah, it's Evo.
Yeah, so look, I saw Evo, I recognize Evo, but what does it what does it represent?
So that album, that's from 2 years ago. And so the past like 3 or 4 years, so Evo got I think they got bought out by Sony PlayStation. And so that's great having Sony behind what you're doing. Yeah, I love them too. And Substantial. Yeah. So Substantial was actually part of the Evo soundtrack. So every single year, Evo puts out a soundtrack, all original music, the hype music right before the top 6, just like I was doing 11 years ago. And so, yeah, those soundtracks, they like that year, that debuted in the top 50 on iTunes.
Wow.
And broke some records. And it's just a bunch of musicians and rappers and singers that love video games. And not only are we representing for esports, but these albums, they're actually breaking ground. They're breaking through top 100 on iTunes and Spotify, and winning records and stuff like that. And so, yeah, just to commemorate the excitement of that, I've been a part of Evo off and on for the past 11 years. But yeah, I just wanted to put it up on the wall.
Have you ever tried to compete in Evo? Because it's open brackets, right? Like anybody.
Open brackets, yeah. No, I've competed locally.
Locally, okay.
I've competed locally. They are just shout out to all the pro gamers. Like they,
it's next level.
Yeah, it's next level. And then and some of them have like families, and they're just as old as me, but they have that work ethic. I'm a fan. Like I actually watch Evo. When I grew up, even before I became a part of Evo, I used to just be mesmerized by the high level like gameplay, people doing combos and stuff with characters that you play, because I'm a casual gamer, and then you see that high level gameplay, 50 hit combos, and I didn't know this linked to this, and this is crazy. This is mind blowing. Like people that take the framework of a character and maximize them. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of high level gameplay of professional gamers. One day when the music side gets a little quieter, maybe I'll get that work ethic. But I'm a fan.
That's the cool thing about the FGC, though, right? It's like you can be older and still be highly competitive.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. You think about like Daigo Umehara, Justin Wong, like those guys. They're close to my age, and they're still at the top, pushing themselves. Still, it mirrors how I look at music. I'm a student of hip hop. I'm a student of songwriting, and even if some people think I've arrived, I'm just, I'm trying to always get better. So
yeah. Somebody said they went to Evo and saw people who were throwing professional.
They got humbled. I tell you, it tells the truth. Like when you may even have a high rank on like Street Fighter 6 or something. Like, hey, I'm the top 100th Zangief in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that still may not be able to hold a candle when you get into the the Evo or the other fighting game events. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. What's your favorite fighting game?
Whew, that's a lot. You talking about somebody that goes back like since fighting vipers and stuff like that. I tell you what, Street Fighter 2 on SNES, when Super Nintendo, when it first came out, I really had like a fun childhood growing up with Street Fighter 2.
That's the one that was on the arcade machines, right?
That's the one that was on the arcade machines. That's the first Street Fighter that got ported to home console.
Yeah.
So I think Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo had a version. I don't know. I just grew up with it. Like, and then Street Fighter Alpha, when I first got my first PlayStation, and just Street Fighter Alpha 1 was the first time what you played in the arcades actually looked like what you played at home.
Yeah.
That's way back. Yeah, just growing up in Soul Calibur when I first got to college. Soul Calibur 1, everybody that experienced Soul Edge when it was on PlayStation, and having the arcade experience of Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast when you first got Dreamcast. And so it's like depending on what decade of my life, depends on like my favorite game, and then that's hard. I guess I would have to say Street Fighter 2 just for nostalgia's sake, but there's so many that have a place in my heart,
Okay. Marvel versus Capcom is my favorite.
Yes.
Because I grew up watching the cartoons on Saturday mornings and owning the comics and owning the comic cards. So to play the game, which is like
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then the predecessor, Street Fighter Cross X-Men, that was incredible. I was like, okay. And then Marvel superheroes, and then what Marvel vs. Capcom was basically the just the climax of all that versus series and stuff like that. And then they polished it with 2 and 3, and yeah.
It's a remaster coming to.
Yes, it is.
Xbox, not Xbox. PlayStation.
Yeah, I think definitely next year.
I saw a bunch of people were upset that it didn't get ported to one of them. I think it's not getting ported to Microsoft, I think. Or
that's not unfortunate. Yeah, a lot of people are excited about that game.
Yeah.
Shout out Marvel vs. Capcom 2 just has a special place, man.
I remember I was in high school. My brother and I were playing. My brother and my sister and I were playing Marvel vs. Capcom, and the final boss I think is Akuma.
Yep.
And we had our team was Cyclops and Ryu. And I remember that, and none of the three of us will ever forget this. Like Akuma jumped in the air and was doing like whatever the name of the move is, right?
Yeah.
And we managed to like kind of cancel dash beneath that over to the other side, and then jump up in the air and do like the double team move.
Yeah.
And it was so many particles happening on the screen because it was a PlayStation that it just started to like basically slow down and stop. So it was like going in slow motion. It was the craziest thing ever.
That's crazy. There was a feature on Marvel vs. Capcom 1, your favorite game, that I wish Capcom would implement. It's when both teammates are on the screen at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the other team does that, it's 4 people clashing at the same time.
Yeah.
So did you ever hear about Mugen?
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Man, we played Mugen a lot when I was in college. And with that, you can program like your favorite 2D fighters, and you can have like 4-on-4, like all on like on the same screen. You would see flashes of that on like Marvel vs. Capcom, or like Street Fighter Alpha 3 on PSP. They had a version where it was like 2 people on the same screen against 1 person. But yeah, that 4 people clashing on the 2D space. I wish Capcom did more of that. That was so fun.
Yeah, but that's gonna be, what is it? UKXO was trying to do that because it's 2v2, right?
I think so. Yeah, they are.
Games joint.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I hope they have that as a feature. I've seen the gameplay I've seen of it. You can definitely, if you're working with a teammate, y'all can like continue combos, and one person will eventually leave. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited about that game.
Okay. So you do tours, right? So you have your own music, and I think when we had connected 2 years ago, it might have been some conference in North Carolina,
Nashville. Yeah. I travel to different music conferences and meet, like-minded souls and people that love music and stuff. And it's just fun. I'm really living the life and learning and connecting with people. It's just really fun. MagFest.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Good old MagFest. Yeah. So, that's a place where, you celebrate video games and comic books, and a lot of nerdcore and video game bands. They come and perform, and they have their own fans. Like I love it. It's been and then shout out to the video game bands out there. There's been a lot of us that's been creating this music. And sometimes some years it feels thankless and people aren't noticing, but now, you know, we're like celebrities now when we come to these conventions and stuff. So, you know, that's just, maybe that's encouragement for somebody. Like, don't give up. You know, if you you may be a pioneer, you think about all the pioneers in like music scenes and stuff like that, or pioneers in video game technology. You know, a lot of times it's decades later people remember their name, but just don't give up. You know, you could literally be a central piece to culture being developed, you know. So
in your work now with music and games, is it something that's able to support you full time, or is it's not quite there yet, but it's still significant?
Full-time-esque.
Okay.
Full-time-esque. You know, that's the trippy part about it is, you know, shout out to my wife, Precious Monet. She's a singer as well. You know, she gave me the option. She's like, hey, you know, I was an IT guy working on computers when state inspection machines would crash and dealership, all the computers in a dealership would go down. I'll be the little tech guy driving out, you know, saying 2 hours away, like, okay, I'll be there by 1 p.m. And I come and fix the whole system and stuff. Like and then, you know, did music on the side. So that's who I was. And, you know, my wife graduated from nursing school, started kicking butt. And she was like, you know, the video game music and the other sync licensing music started getting, you know, lucrative. She's like, hey, just stay at home and just be full time and just make sure the kids don't die. Like, I'm gonna take that deal. I'm gonna take that deal. And so, the past 2 years it's been full-time-esque, and just it helps because, you know, video game companies, they are very picky with their music. Like, you may kick butt on the first pass of the song, but that song has to be so hot that multiple teams, you know, development teams got to sign off on the song. Like, you know, you may have got the music production team to love it, but then, you know, whoever's the graphic team has got to be like, it doesn't really fit with the scene, and you got to go back and you got to rewrite and, you know, make sure you listen to details, have a quick turnaround and stuff. So it definitely helps when, you know, when you're at home and that's your main livelihood, doing you know, studio work. It's, you know, having that quick turnaround. But yeah, it's fun life.
You think about not trying to get in your pockets. When you think about like the breakdown of the way that you make money, can you talk about percentages? Again, no details, but just help people understand, like, from somebody who is you're managing this now full time. How does it play into that versus the conferences and the EVOs, etc.?
Yeah. So it's just, you know, you negotiate your price. Like right now in the sync licensing space, and some of this covers my video game work, I'm managing over 10, you know, 3 and 4 man production teams. And so each one of those teams, they have different, you know, and it's 2 ways to make money in sync licensing. It's working on briefs. So they'll be like, okay, this company right here needs a song. This is their reference. It could be a reference to like an old 90s song. And so you and your production team, I got to create something similar but original. And then, you know, you work that brief. You may get that brief. You may not get that brief. And then another way is working with sync agents. And then I guess there's a third, going direct to the client and having your own network of music supervisors that you know, create music for when they need you and stuff like that. But yeah, it's fun. You know, you work on a brief. You may take 2 to 3 people to create that song. You know, we slice up the pie equally. We submit it. You know, they'd be like, hey, well, this is the, you know, $50,000. You know, you split that $50,000 with your, you know, 3-man group. You know, rinse, repeat. Go after another song, another brief, or a video game company will hit you up directly. Like, hey, I want you and your team specifically. You know, these are the characters. You know, sign your NDA. And you know, you just slice the pie equally. There's split sheets and stuff like that helps keep track of all the songs, because I'm doing a 100-song challenge this year. I'm on song 71, and so it's hard to keep up with 71 songs. And so, I have a who owns what percentage of what song and what sync company or sync agent is pushing that song, or it might be a straight up buyout for that song. So, and you just keep track. You build. I tell people, because I do coaching as well. Build your dynasty. Build your dynasty. And so that's what I'm doing. So out of like 10 different teams, we've worked on like 71 songs. Out of those, like 35 have been placed in like sync houses, sync libraries. A few of them have been placed in video games and video game trailers. I just did Frag Punk. It's a game coming out next year. It was featured during the Summer Game Showcase, Xbox's showcase. This like about a month and a half ago. But Frag Punk is basically a first-person shooter that uses a card system as well. And I did the theme song, the trailer for that trailer music. So.
Okay. Do you happen to have that you can share?
Yeah, sure. Let me see. I got it pinned to my X. Let's see.
While he's doing that, if anybody has questions, obviously he knows what he's talking about. He's built a successful career on this. So if you have any questions about music production or music syncing, license syncing, let us know in the chat.
Let me know. Yeah, let us know. Let's see. Twitter. X.
X, right? More formally Twitter.
More formally. Okay, you can see this.
Yep.
Yeah. Here we go.
Got the audio. Yep.
Use this. Make your own rules.
It's my turn.
Yep. So that's my part of that trailer. So they had a that's the quick version. They had a feature length version that has more of the song that I created for that game company. But yeah, that's exciting. That's the great thing about it is, it's trailer music now, but they might love the song and put it in game. Mm-hmm. They might create a soundtrack for it. And so that is the most fun thing about this experience, is different iterations of the video game, be it the soundtrack, a new anniversary edition, something. Your song is following all that, or is a part of all that, and so it's really fun.
So, for that opportunity, or maybe not that opportunity, if that's too specific, in general, do you have to submit proposals? Is it like, someone say we want an RFP for music proposals for a trailer? How do you know about that opportunity?
A lot of times you work the system long enough where they start finding you. Okay. Hopefully you have something unique about yourself. Me, I have hopefully you have something unique about your artistry. You may have the right tone. You might be able to sing incredibly, or for me, I got a loud mouth, so I'm boisterous and trying to get into voice acting and stuff like that. So they will look for that sound, just like when I'm creating an album, I'll go to the ends of the earth to find the right sound that can push me as a songwriter. And so, yeah, they'll start looking for you,
Okay. And you mentioned voice acting. Have you had a lot of
getting there
experience with that? Yeah.
I'm getting into it. Something this year, I'm actually working on my first voice act VO job for a video game. So that's very exciting.
NDA, I assume.
yeah, NDA. I am a novice when it comes to voice acting. I really I really respect people that's like that's their lane. So I'm leveling up. So I'm probably like a level 50 rapper. I'm a level 2 voice actor right now. So I'm still leveling up.
Yeah, I think that might still be a career path for me to look into, like when I get some free time. I remember I used to work for Georgia Southern University in the IT department, so started an IT career like you did. And the business and finance division said that, hey, we want to install like the round robin voicemail system, right? Wow, so that if person A is on vacation or whatever, it automatically after 3 rings to person B.
Oh wow!
Well, Marcus, you're in IT, since you're installing it, can you just do like the entry level, like welcome to Georgia Southern? So I did that, just
okay. Wow, hey, that's great. Well, and
then I started getting emails. They're like, hey, everybody wants to know if you could just record theirs for them.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Wow. Like in that experience, did you overthink it? Like, welcome to Georgia University, or did you just like first couple?
They just had a script. They were like, here's 3 sentences. We need you to read these 3 sentences.
Okay,
right,
okay.
Whatever.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
So
it's an experience. I mean, it's just fun. It's so many different avenues you can go down, when it comes to, just technology and gaming and voice acting and songwriting and being a musician and producer, or just, I just love how there's so many people that have found their niche in this space. And, even like with Evo and the other FGC events, commentators, people that probably never saw themselves as a commentator. They just love video games. And now they're like known and sought after, to be, voices, in tournaments and stuff. I just love it. I love this space, honestly.
Do you feel like you mentioned like level 50 vocalist, level 2 voice actor? Are you feel like you're having to start over? Like, does your experience in being a vocalist make this easier, or is it opening more doors? Or are you having to basically like remake a name for yourself?
Remake a name. I'm being very slow and selective with like my demo reel. So I haven't had an official demo reel in voice acting yet. One, because I don't want to be a one-trick pony, like in songwriting and for video game gigs, I have a loud, powerful voice a lot of times. That's what they're asking for. And I don't want to rest on that experience. Like voice acting it's a whole nother level of intentionality and going beyond how you naturally speak to represent a character and stuff like that. Like, I want to really give that craft its respect, and so I'm just taking my sweet time in between my songwriting gigs. I'm taking little baby steps into that space.
Okay. Well, when I get a moment, I'll send you an interview with Deborah Wilson from Mad TV.
Yeah.
Deborah Wilson reinvented herself in voice acting.
Wow. Yeah.
Yo, just
she's amazing.
She just had so much wisdom to share. It was ridiculous.
Please send that to me. I love her in the Star Wars, the newest Star Wars Jedi something. I beat part 1. Which one? What is it?
I forget. I know what you're talking about. I forget the name of it.
Yeah. Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Star Wars Fallen Order. I think it's the sequel. But yeah, I really enjoyed her as a voice actor on those games.
Yeah. She's when you listen to it, part of it is it's only like the second half of it ends up being about voice acting. The first of it is just like her reflecting on the wisdom of her life experience. Yeah. Kind of shifting from I guess she started in film or theater.
Yep.
Shifted into comedy and then reinvented again into voice acting.
See, the progression. Life to me is like an RPG, and you got your progression, and you think you're developing into one class, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, now I can actually level up into this class progression right here instead. And so I love the journey, and so I look forward to hearing her wisdom. So that's really awesome.
So in terms of new games, what are you playing these days?
So I'm taking my sweet time with Persona 5. I should have been beat that game. Or when I got a PlayStation 5, playing Persona 5 on PlayStation 5 was actually one of the things I looked forward to. So I'm taking my sweet time with that. I'm almost finished with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. First of all, favorite RPG of all time is the original Final Fantasy VII. How it was such a moment in time, because when I had a Super Nintendo, I was playing Chrono Trigger. Had a Genesis. I was playing the Phantasy Star series and Shining Force and Shining in the Dark. Man, I'm old. Final Fantasy VII in 1997. That was the transition, from 2D sprites to 3D models, and just, the language was adult, and it was just crazy. That's my favorite RPG of all time. And so what they did with the source material for the remakes, I'm just like my childhood reimagined, or my teenage years reimagined. It's incredible. So I'm taking my sweet time through Rebirth, but I'm almost at the end.
Okay. And do you have any? What games are you playing with your kids? Do you play separate games?
We got Switch. So so my my kids are Roblox.
Robloxers.
Right now. And so I have Roblox on my PlayStation 5, and so I'll just jump in and join their game. They don't even know it's me, and so they might be like getting beat up by some bad guys, and then Dad will jump in like, "Daddy, what's?" They'll run to the studio like, "You didn't tell me you was," that, and a lot of games on Nintendo Switch. There's a food mess something. I got the original on PlayStation, but the sequel just came out on Switch, and so me and my daughter were playing.
Is it Overcooked? No.
Is it what?
Overcooked?
No, we play Overcooked on PlayStation. We play Overcooked 2. We're going. My 11-year-old is but yeah, there's man, what's the name of it? But yeah. So those are the games that I'm playing right now with the kids.
Okay.
Ultra Food Mess 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Fun little indie game.
Okay. I have a question about the PlayStation 5. So I still have my PS4, right?
Okay.
Now, I guess going on 7, maybe 8 years.
Yeah.
And so
2020, right?
What do you say?
2020 is that when the PlayStation 5 came out?
I think so. 2020. So maybe 4 years. Has it only been 4 years?
It's only been 4 years. I feel like I know what you mean. I think 2019 or 2020. I remember being in the pandemic looking for a PlayStation 5. Like,
I remember that. Yeah, you couldn't find them. So it must have been like 2019 going into 2020 was the pandemic. Yeah.
Crazy times.
Do you feel like the graphic upgrade was significant, or I'm wondering how many more of these consoles we'll see, not because of like digital streaming, but because of, I don't know if like cell phones, right? Like the first to second generation was insane, second to third to fourth, fifth to sixth. Now we're to eighth and ninth. It's like, do I really need to upgrade to the next phone?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll say this was the first shift in consoles where graphically there was not that big of an improvement. I mean, real talk, I've only probably played 4 games that I would consider next gen, Final Fantasy VII Remake being one of them. But then I start going back. Like, how did I feel in the transition between? Well, there was a big gap between PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. Was it much of a gap? Were you blown away between the transition between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4?
Maybe it was the games. I don't know. Like, it's been so long now.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Definitely between 2 to 3. Probably not between 3 to 4. So I think like 2 to 3 was when it was like the most noticeable for me, where it went from being polygons to like
Right.
just characters.
Right.
So I would say after 3, it hasn't really been that noticeable.
Yeah, I agree. And see, I transitioned from the PlayStation 4 Pro to PlayStation 5, and so I really didn't see that big of a. I love the user the interface.
Mm-hmm.
It was ultra smooth. I love the haptic feedback on this generation's controllers.
Yeah.
But this also was the first year where I really became a PC gamer, and so I play most of my AAA titles like Baldur's Gate 3 and just like games I'm really excited about. I play on my computer now. And I finally saved up enough coins to get a decent a decent drive, a graphics card, and so I'm loving being a PC.
Well, have you had to replace anything or upgrade anything? How long have you had the PC, and have you had to make any replacements, repairs, or upgrades since you bought it?
No repairs, knock on wood. I'm the guy every 2 weeks out, cut this thing off and blow out all the dust. Yeah. So it's my little money maker too. You know what I'm saying? So I need to keep it fresh.
Maintenance.
I just added like a 2 terabyte hard drive to it, but it already had the space to add another hard drive. So
I just stopped it basically.
Yeah. So I put all my gaming files on that hard drive, and that so it don't mess with my C drive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Use my D drive for family photos and just keep it.
Keep everything organized. You're doing better than me, man. You should see my desktop. It's just like whenever I have something to download, I just download the desktop.
Yeah.
And if I have to look for something, I only open the Windows like File Explorer.
Oh yeah,
the most recent, because I can't even look at my desktop.
Man, it's crazy. So I mostly use my C drive for my studio work.
Yeah.
That gets crazy too, because don't accidentally delete a file. It's still on your computer, but it's gonna be heck finding it. Right. It's somewhere in your C drive, but it's named all funky, and you're like, man, that was a great take, man. I didn't mean to delete that. Good luck finding it.
Yeah. I got a second monitor like 2 weeks ago because I wanted to start streaming games through Restream.
Yeah.
And maybe the opportunity is just not to use Restream. Maybe there was some other tool like OBS where this isn't a problem. But with Restream, the only way that I can stream audio, you can't stream audio from another tab with Restream within a window.
Really?
Unless it's a second window. Like I can stream video from the same window, but if I want to stream audio from like the game, you can't have it in the same window. So I got a second monitor so I could put the game on, leave the game here, and then put like Restream there where my other monitor is.
Jeez.
And it was working, but now like it was a cheaper one. I got like $60. So like this one's like $100. This one's like $60. I don't know. I have a RTX 3080 or something.
Okay.
I don't imagine it's the card, but for whatever reason, when I'm streaming the game, this monitor started to just blink out and go black, and now it won't turn on at all.
Jeez. Yeah. I got a 3060.
It should support 2 monitors, like no problem.
It should. In theory, it should. It shouldn't be an issue.
In theory. I have an IT degree. I should be able to fix this.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I use Restream and OBS in a combination. When first Street Fighter 6 first came out last year, I had a decent experience with it and got a little overlay on my little flare and stuff. But I need to kick that back up and start playing live. I just haven't had the time for it. But yeah. I'm sorry to hear about your second monitor.
Yeah, so we'll see. I guess I could send it back to Amazon. I really need to, because whenever I plug it into like the first port on the back of the card, it boots up. So it's something about maybe because they're 2 different sizes or something, like it won't just, I can support this one by itself or that one by itself. When I plug them both in, it only sees this one.
Wow. Yeah, try OBS. I think there's a thing where OBS is integrated with Restream, where it's a good experience. The few times I've tried it, I think it worked pretty good. So
okay. Yeah.
So
we're rolling up on an hour, right? Want to be respectful of your time. So I'm so appreciative of it. I have a couple more questions back to sync licensing, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned earlier about like samples being a problem.
Yes.
And obviously, again, like you got your own business. So if you all want to know more, you can book time with him, and I'm sure he's happy to have those conversations.
Absolutely.
If you could just share like one or two more pieces of advice just for this podcast, and then so people understand that they need to go to you for more advice.
Absolutely. So, the good thing about it is, think about it like this. Behind every movie, video game, Netflix production, there is a music supervisor and a team of music supervisor and then a team of music coordinators, and their job is to find the right song for the right fight scene or the right love scene or the right outro. That's their job to put the salt in. Music is the salt, the flavor of a movie. Think about your favorite movie. If there was no music, you wouldn't have those emotional cues like, oh, am I supposed to be mad now or happy? Like, where am I emotionally?
Right.
That's the purpose that music serves. And so why not your music? If you create music, why not your music? And so, a little tidbit, you can go on IMDb. If you have a pro account, you can see what movies are in post-production. The last thing most of the times when a movie is being completed is finding the music, So a lot of the movies and commercials and stuff, they're being developed, and the last thing to select is the music. And so you can get in on the sweet spot and use a combination of IMDb Pro and LinkedIn. Like, okay, this movie is in post-production. They're currently looking for music. Do I have any connections in the sync space that know about this movie or know the music supervisor personally where I can submit my music to them? Okay, maybe I don't. Well, let me go to LinkedIn and okay, who's the music supervisor? Linda such and such. Let me find Linda such and such on LinkedIn and send them, all the little features that LinkedIn has where you can
right.
It's not in your network and stuff like that. You never know. They might reply back like, yeah, I'm actually looking for music, and send them a link, to your music. Make sure the link is clean. You either use disco.ac, which is a really awesome file storing space with a post. It's like Google Drive with a post. It gives music supervisors are actually on disco.ac looking for music. So it's actually a place where supervisors go to license music, and you can actually put a lot of your music up there. Either that or a very clean SoundCloud private link. Send that to them via LinkedIn. They may respond back like, hey, I love your music. I think I like this song here. It really captures what I'm looking for in this scene of this movie I'm working on. Do you have a representative? How can I license your music?
Right.
Boom, boom. And so that's a little bit of nugget right there. And so you can always be on IMDb Pro or TuneFinder or other places and just keep your ear to what's going on and who needs your sound. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. I just spoke virtually to two classes up at Syracuse University today. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Professor Crystal Houston for setting that opportunity up for me. And we were talking about the value of LinkedIn not just being anymore a place where you just go every 2 to 3 years to update your resume.
Right.
It is now a social network for business professionals.
Yes, it is. So
I'll be sure to send her this clip. I'm going to remind her this clip. You also have endorsed it.
I endorse. I believe in it. LinkedIn is great. LinkedIn is great. And so, yeah, very, very, very professional. What's awesome is when you get enough credits in the sync licensing space, make a whole LinkedIn focused on you as an artist, and where you don't even have to put some of your past employment on it. Like, wow. And you just sit and look at your career and you're like, wow, okay. You know what I'm saying? There's other people on LinkedIn with a larger resume or longer resume, but I'm proud of my journey. This is really cool.
you could reflect on that, and that can be enough, right? Sometimes it's like you said, sometimes you just have to like appreciate the journey.
That's right.
And it's hard to notice that in the moment, and it's also hard to remember to document it in the moment if you're not intentional about it. And then what's more challenging, I'm sure you may or may not experience this, is like trying to think back about something you did 4 years ago,
right,
or 8 years ago. The details get fuzzy.
They do. Like, was I on that project, or did I try to be on that project?
right.
But if it's documented, you know, like, oh yeah, I did do that. That's really cool, you know. So yeah.
Well, thanks so much for the advice, the insights, the gems. It's been awesome, man. Thank you for your time. Before we leave, where can people find you, support you, be a part of your community?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everywhere, Omega Sparks, OMEGA SPARX. I have a new single out called Reset, and that's doing pretty good on Spotify. And yeah, just hit me up on social media somewhere. And I love the community that I'm part of. And if you need any, wisdom on how to get into the single licensing space, I would love to talk with you about that and see if we can kickstart your career.
I meant to put this link up as a scroller through the entire conversation, so I apologize that I'm just now doing that. But since we're still here, here is the link tree.
Hey, it's a me.
For Omega Sparks.
Right, that's me. Yeah.
I meant to. I was working on it right before you joined, and then I just lost track of time. So if you made it through the entire episode, A, thank you for watching, and B, if you want to learn more, again, his work speaks for itself. He's a phenomenal professional in this space. He's well sought after from game studios who understand what he has to bring to the industry. So thank you for your leadership, for your art, and anybody who wants to learn more, whether you are a game studio or someone who wants to learn from his advice, again, connect with him at Linktree or linktree.ee.
Right.
Omega Sparks.
Exactly. I wonder if that's what they intended, like Linktree.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe that domain was like $1 at the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Just run with it.
It definitely makes them stick out. But yeah.
So thanks for your time, Jarrell. Best of luck and continued success with everything you got working on. And again, you still have an invitation when I get around to working on volume 2. I would be honored to feature as a thought leader in the book.
Man, I have I'm just blown away and impressed by volume 1. And so, I would be honored to say some awesome words. Just incredible, just so professional. And that's the first book I purchased on the digital version, where it was, it just felt like an interactive experience. It just thank you so much for what you do and all the spaces that you contribute to. It's just really awesome. And so, I really had a fun time tonight, and just keep up. I cannot wait for volume 2.
Excellent. All right, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you all for joining us again tonight. We'll see you again next Thursday. I think we're talking to someone from Collegiate Esports. We're going to continue the conversation about the sustainability or lack thereof of the collegiate esports ecosystem. So that's probably going to be an intense conversation. If you agree or disagree, join the conversation. I don't mind being wrong. I'm always trying to learn. So I hope to learn from you. I hope you learn from me. Otherwise, we'll see you again next week. Thank you for your time. We look forward to helping you level up your wealth. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace.